Innovation for us at PlayStation means that we're going to lead the way with exploring new technology that unlocks new entertainment experiences. Nothing elicits emotion quite like the VR medium. PlayStation VR2.
For the past 3 years, the entire VR industry has been hurtling down a single path: standalone, Android, cheap, and wireless. And well, this is the newest VR headset from Sony, and it's wired, expensive, and high fidelity. Quite literally the exact opposite of everything that Meta and every other company in VR are doing right now. So, has Sony's gamble paid off? Is this the quote-unquote savior of high-quality VR as many people have hoped? Well, I think it's got a fair shot, but not everything is perfect. And I think by the end of this, you'll get exactly why I'm calling this the disappointingly great PlayStation VR 2. So let's just blast through the hardware, specs, and some of my nitpicks so we can get into the really juicy stuff. You get everything you need in the box. Well, except for the PlayStation 5. And whether it's your first time in VR or your 1000th, the setup is incredibly easy. You just plug the headset into the front of the console, the PS5 will automatically walk you through step by step, and you'll be in VR in minutes. However, I do gotta say that right out of the box, I did have some concerns regarding the build quality of the whole package. Everything feels fine enough, just compared to most other VR headsets out there, the PSVR2 does feel kind of plasticky and a little cheap, I guess. The controllers creak and have bendy seams, the headset's a little floppy, and the white plastic is prone to scratches. It's not terrible, it's just not great either. But that being said, through the dozens and dozens of hours using it, even dropping it a couple times, it is robust enough. I'm not easy on my VR headsets, and it did hold up just fine even when stressing it beyond normal circumstances. So, even though it doesn't feel the best, it does hold up. And everything about the headset is pretty standard. It's got an IPD adjustment wheel, power button, a dedicated pass-through button, which I ended up using a lot more than I anticipated, and it's got a focal length adjustment slider. And if you can put up with sliding the lenses as close to your face as possible, which is what I like to do, you can easily get around a 110-degree field of view, which is quite a bit better than the Quest 2, and it's around Valve Index levels. And of course, everyone's eyes are different, but the absolute best experience is when you slide the lenses all the way up to your eyes. The controllers are also completely industry standard for VR, and I mean that in a really good way. Buttons are where you'd expect them, there's thumbsticks, capacitive sensors for gestures, everything's basically standard except for the triggers, which use the exact same force feedback trigger technology found in the PS5's DualSense. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But these controllers are also going to be a great built-in family joke as you throw grandma in and she tries to figure out how to hold the controllers. The shape of these things are just a little funny and pretty non-intuitive to put on your hand. It's not a bad thing or a big deal, it's just funny. Not funny, however, is that apparently if you have big hands, like extra large glove territory size hands, your hands are just not really PSVR2 compatible unless you mind the controllers digging into your hand. And everything else is fine. The camera-based tracking is great, most of the time. I did lose tracking on a handful of occasions, but it wasn't terribly often, and I did regain tracking quickly. The comfort is fine. I was able to wear it for hours on end, and I have no real complaints there. In terms of audio, the PSVR2 comes bundled with these earbuds that nicely tuck into the headset, which you'll probably never really use once you realize they're just terrible $2 earbuds, and wearing just about anything else is instantly a better experience. I tried out a bunch of headphones and they all fit nicely underneath, and okay, not too bad on time. Now I can finally just rant for a moment on something. Just looking at the PSVR2 hardware-wise, hands down, the best feature on this headset are the displays. But turns out the displays are also the absolute worst part of this headset. Look, the PSVR2 boasts two 120Hz OLED panels at a resolution of 2000 by 2040 per eye. A little higher than most headsets, but not by much. And the OLEDs are just amazing. And to put it simply, OLED panels just offer better contrast, deeper blacks, and better colors than LCDs. LCDs being the type of display on most modern headsets, meaning that games like Horizon with its bright greens and blues just pop and look beautiful, while dark situations in VR actually look dark and black. Like if you're in a dark room, it'll be pitch black, and that adds so much to the experience. That is, until you notice something. Everything is gorgeous and bright and beautiful and pretty clear until you notice this grainy filter over everything. And I was actually shocked when I first put on the headset. At first I thought maybe I got a defective PSVR2, but doing some Googling, I am definitely not the only one. And And turns out that for all the beautiful benefits of OLED, this is a well-documented issue with OLED displays called Mira. And between this and maybe some diffusion filters or maybe the pixel arrangement of the displays, the end result is that everything looks something like this. Sometimes it's way more noticeable than others, and sometimes it's barely noticeable, but pretty much everywhere you look will have this grainy filter over it. And not gonna lie, it's kind of terrible, and once you notice it, it's really hard not to just stare at it. And it does one of the worst things you could do to a VR experience, and it takes you out of the experience. In fact, some scenes of Resident Evil, it's all you can see. It's terrible and it's distracting, and it's all I can notice. Honestly, it's so bad. So much of virtual reality is just your perception. How you view something based on your experiences, the things you've done, places you've been, headsets you've used, thoughts you've had. And frankly, if I were to zoom out and analyze how I'm viewing the PSVR2, I'm looking at it from the point of view of someone that analyzes VR headsets for a living. So no wonder I can't stop looking at this grainy filter. It looks like ass, and I'm not gonna deny that. I'm obviously just focusing a little too hard on the flaws. Because here's the crazy thing, for this specific issue, you can just legit get over it. And I'm sure for some people it'll really bother them and this is unusable, but for most people, and definitely for new VR users, I could almost bet that they probably won't even notice it. And if they do, they'll just get over it. So I just got over it. I stopped focusing on it. And if you can do that, you're actually in for probably some of the absolute best virtual reality gaming experiences that have ever been made yet. Flat out. The PSVR2 is just doing a few things that really no other headset has ever done. And after experiencing them firsthand, I hope that the rest of the industry catches on, because everything else about the PSVR2 honestly kind of makes up for its flaws. And this is pretty much the only consumer VR headset ever made that has eye tracking built in, and that's a shame because eye tracking is amazing for VR. Not only squeezing out a bit more performance via foveated rendering, but some games actually use your eyes as part of the game. In Horizon, you can navigate the menus using just your eyes. Your aim is assisted using eye tracking. Another horror game changes its state as you blink. It's really awesome. But it was in Rez where I truly felt I was using a next generation VR headset. I sat down and pretty much played Rez from beginning to end using entirely eye tracking and just a couple buttons. And it's ironic that this game released 22 years ago, because this feels like one of the best future gaming experiences I've ever had. The OLED displays are deep black, I'm controlling the game with my eyes, the headset haptics rumble along with the beat, everything just comes together so beautifully that I realize this is probably the best way to have ever played this game. This classic title from 2001 is at its best right here, right now with VR hardware in 2023. And that's an interesting thought. And something I've grown to really appreciate with this headset is that none of its features feel like gimmicks. The face haptics are used in almost every game. And whether it be taking off in a ship in No Man's Sky, or clearing a stage in Rez, or getting hit in the face, the headset vibrating is an additive feature. It genuinely makes the experiences better. The eye tracking not only increases performance, but actually adds to gameplay in ways that have never been done before. And the controllers, as long as they fit in your hands, have the same haptic force feedback trigger as the PS5, which is arguably the best trigger on any controller ever. Every trigger pull feels amazing, and all these things together add to the immersion in ways that I don't think I really expected. And I had one of the most intense moments I have ever had in VR playing Resident Evil Village. That opening sequence in VR from someone that hasn't played it on a flat screen is insane. Horizon is probably the most beautiful VR game I've ever seen, even though the gameplay is kinda boring. And in case you're wondering why this video is so late, I've been playing too much Gran Turismo. I played for like 6 hours straight, and that's not something I do very often at all. I, for the first time in a while, just got completely lost in VR. And this is where VR headset reviews get kinda weird. I've tried worse headsets with better specs that cost less and that cost more. I've tried headsets with worse specs that are better in some ways. And the PSVR2 is just in a really weird spot market-wise. It costs more than a Quest 2 or Pico 4, but it does less overall. And it costs a little less than a PCVR setup, but is restricted to only the PlayStation 5 ecosystem. So you have one of the more expensive VR setups that works with the least released things. And then you've got flaws like reprojection in some games, where some games run at only 60 FPS, but the frames are essentially doubled, resulting in a ghosting-like effect. Something that doesn't bother me, but it is present and it's worth noting. Then you've got Mira, which did bother me. It's pretty much like screen door effect almost. And the PSVR2 also has a pretty tight sweet spot. Not that big of a deal, but you will be adjusting it a lot. There's no hand tracking, no wireless, no all-in-one usage, no PC usage, no Beat Saber, no social games. Look, what I'm trying to say is I've had a great experience with the PSVR2, and I've really grown to love it. It's one of the best VR gaming experiences out there, but it's not perfect, and it's not all that versatile. And there are better values out there, which is exactly why I say it's disappointingly great. Like, I wish I could say the PSVR2 is the best headset available. Go out, buy it. It's just an easy recommendation. Because the features are awesome, the hardware is pretty great, the software that's out right now is pretty sweet, but it is kind of limited. And really, it's hard to tell how good the PSVR2 is going to end up because it's completely up to Sony and how much they invest in VR in the future. As of right now, if the PSVR2 didn't get another game ever, it would suck, right? But if the PSVR2 gets more games like Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon and Resident Evil in the future like Sony says it will, then it's very possible that the PS5 could become the place to play VR games. And the entire industry will benefit because of it. More studios bringing more big games to VR, it's exactly what we need right now. So, would I recommend ponying up the $550 on the PSVR2? Well, if you already have a PS5 and you have the money sitting around, it's a no-brainer. Actually, like, stop this video, just go order it while you have the cash. Once you get past the few annoyances, you will get your money's worth, especially if you already know that you like VR. Oh, plus you can just use the headset as an OLED 1080p screen when playing games, so added functionality. Plus, the exclusive games that you can play now with it are well worth the cost. But if you don't already have a PS5, this whole recommendation gets to be a whole lot harder. Basically, it's a grand in, so I think I'll just settle on this. If you're already hardcore in VR, like you have a PC or a VR setup, or even just like a Quest 2, well, if you have a whole grand laying around and you're not gonna miss it, the PS5 and PSVR2 has my recommendation. It's good and it's fun. It's really good VR. But if you don't have that money laying around just for fun, you're not really missing out on that much. And honestly, until more games come, it's just a lot of cash to drop on something, especially if you only want this for VR. There's just better value out there when it comes to the VR market right now. So, that's kind of a lot. It's a great headset, the software is super fun, and I've enjoyed my time with it. Of course, it has its issues, but my goal here was to show you guys all the issues and all the flaws, but then also see my experience and see where I'm coming from. The PSVR2 has really given me that fresh love for VR again, at least the gaming side of it. The sad part is that after I'm done playing these games, I'm just gonna go back to a PC or Quest, so there's that as well. I just really hope that Sony stays committed to bringing value to the PSVR2 and its owners, because that's what's really gonna make or break this thing. But of course, I wanted to thank all of my Patreon supporters. Buying every VR headset to review gets incredibly expensive, so you guys make these videos quite literally possible, so thank you so much. But until next time, don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.